I will call a joint meeting of the finance committee to order. We're going to chime in chair, but we're here to discuss the fiscal year 2026 budget discussions.
Yeah, so I think we just wanted to make sure, I know we reviewed the timeline, our board, it's very similar to prior years. One of the big changes I think to the process was, typically we ask the department heads to submit a budget for level funding and level service. And this year we asked for kind of three options. I think, Matt, you brought this up last year, of doing a budget that's down 3%, a level funded, and then a level service. Not to say that we're looking to necessarily cut budgets. We're not getting ahead of, where we think things are going to land. But I think it's a good, way for us to, if we do have to cut in places, to get ahead of, okay, with the department heads, where would you cut if we did need to come down overall or in any specific areas. So I'm not sure if Mike has sent out the budget requests yet, but I think we're hoping the timeline we had by the end of this week or next, that those requests would be sent out. I think I mentioned to him just kind of putting in the communication that asking for the 3% down is not an indication of where we're going to land. It's just going to be helpful information for us. So I think that was the biggest change for this year, and we'll just still have our joint meetings for the big departments and kind of follow that same process.
Yeah. And to that point, it sounds like, and people who have been here longer than me can attest, but that was a practice that was done before.
Okay.
And we, I guess maybe given the economy,
Mhm.
that is something that got out of habit of doing. So that shouldn't, I guess the town is used to that. We're just reinstating
Yeah.
that process.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I think we heard some feedback too from the department heads about if we do need to make any changes to their budget, just kind of communicating to that to them before we kind of publish the finalized budget. So the timeline is really tight in that time frame. In like April, May, it's very tight. But I think we could take that and make more of an effort after we have our joint meetings and our subcommittee meetings to kind of go back to department heads and let them know if anything's changing.
Do you think that, I think we've talked about, at least we have with Michael, about making sure the department heads are ready for those, I guess I'll just call them presentations. Because sometimes I think we feel that they come to present their budgets, but then there's a lot of information of like, what are your budget sources, or do you have this information? We were trying to figure out, is that just information they don't have right at that moment, or is that information they don't know? So he has said that he will work with them to make sure that the information, I think, is in a good place for when those presentations, so there isn't a lot of like missing information.
Yeah.
When it comes to that.
One of the biggest asks, I think, is new positions. I think we need to be very clear that any new positions just need strong justification. To the point in terms of like kind of where our budget is, the economy, health insurance, all of those things. I just think any new position requests need a lot of documentation.
Absolutely. We love data too, so if anyone can
Yes.
provide that to help us make decisions, then that's appropriate too. I was wondering if we can work on like blocking off those meetings and maybe just have department heads sign up for the spaces that work for them, because sometimes we have like, I'm not available, but maybe work on a meeting schedule that works for us.
Yeah.
And he can send it out and say, sign up for a block of time.
Yeah,
What do you
that
think?
works.
And maybe cut down on the back and forth of
Yeah.
coordinating. So,
Yeah.
but open to whatever
Yeah.
works for you guys.
Yeah, we've talked about kind of like for our board, what works best, like just times and stuff.
Okay, great.
So I can take a stab at like a first pass at typically we need what, like 5 nights maybe at the most. So I'll take a stab at what those could look like and
Okay.
we can kind of go back and forth on that.
Sounds great.
Would it be possible to utilize Microsoft 365, like to do like a calendar invite?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we wouldn't be on that, right?
I
don't
think we
have-
could invite you. You wouldn't have the same type of capabilities, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
before this summer, we had like no calendar capabilities. So I think probably on our end, we will definitely use it.
Yeah.
And also for the department heads and
Yeah.
to kind of keep scheduling. And if we can include you, it should work.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it would just
For
be
like our
good.
personal emails.
yeah, with
Yeah.
your personal
Yeah.
emails, right?
Okay.
Like you don't have to be part of our system. It's just like any other Microsoft
Yeah.
product. But that's something that sounds kind of silly to say we're excited about it, but it will help, lessen and attach the files and stuff like that to the meeting invite or whatnot. So
Okay.
probably if you
Great.
see calendar invites come through, or if we don't get them, like we'll give it a shot and see how it works.
Yeah.
No, we haven't. No. Yeah, no. Integrate it like that. All right. Does anyone have any other suggestions or comments for?
I have at our last meeting, we talked about getting something going in December. Michael sent something out. Now, we don't know if that's happened or not yet. So is that gonna? How do we find that out?
I'll send him an email tomorrow,
I don't know.
Julie.
What?
I'll send Mike an email tomorrow and
Okay.
I'll copy you and then just ask him where he's at with sending out the budget requests.
Okay. Do you want me to check to see if he's here?
Sure.
Yeah.
And then will we know when they're supposed to get the budgets in? And will that be part of what he sends out?
We do have a deadline of like mid-February for that he uses, so.
So we'll I think double check. Usually he copies us on those. So, and I haven't seen them
Yeah.
come through. So I'm guessing they
Yeah.
haven't gone out yet.
Yeah.
But I'll check it. This week? Okay. Okay.
What was that? I don't think everyone heard.
Okay, so Julie's saying the bigger department heads know about it, but the emails haven't gone out
Okay.
to, I don't know, to them or to everybody. So
Okay.
maybe they've been made aware of it. Like you said, it's
Mhm.
similar every year, but haven't gotten a formal email. And then
I'll email him a reminder tomorrow and also just ask him to copy us on it.
Mhm.
Did we say when we're going to get together again? Or was that not
For what?
another joint meeting? Or is that too early to even think about that now?
Well, I think our next meeting, unless something comes up, will be like the first budget presentation, which is like mid-March. Like our next joint meeting would be for the budget presentations.
So that was the reference of, we'll find like times that work for both of our boards and then start to schedule those. So we'll find that time. Okay. Next on the agenda is the town administrator search process. For a few of you who have been on the board for a while, we had come with a request to get assistance from Community Paradigm, which is a search firm to help with the town administrator search process. That request has previously been denied, and we did go through a search process with both myself, the Human Resources Director, the school superintendent and also a town administrator who's a Clinton citizen, Don Lowe, who's a respected, I think, community member. We went through that process and determined that we didn't feel like the candidates were a good fit for what Clinton needed at that time. And we asked Michael to stay on for an additional year, and that year will expire July 1st. So we are looking to secure the services of that firm again. And we're looking for you to help us make that happen with a vote for funds for that. It would be,
What kind of fee structure were they thinking about? I understand there are all kinds of different fee structures relative to a search. Their name came up. I did a little research before coming down here. Their name was in the top 5, so
yeah,
that's good news.
yeah,
But in terms of the fees charged, it can be a large percentage of the salary. It can be a hybrid model.
it was a
How
flat,
flexible are they?
It was
flat fee.
$14,000
was
flat.
the
How much, 40?
proposal.
14, 1, 4.
Flat.
Yeah. So it was a flat fee of $14,000. So, so we went through the procurement process and we got 2 proposals back. This board voted to go with Community Paradigm. And they would go through, interview the staff. They're very highly connected to people in Massachusetts who
Right.
work in this field. So their networking is strong, and they're very reputable. And we wanted to kind of leverage their network to find the best candidate for Clinton. So they'll go through a whole needs analysis. They'll interview people here. What do we feel the town needs? Where are we looking to go in the future? And then put out a request. They'll review all of the candidates. They will vet them and then propose them to us. And then we will go through a process to narrow down the candidates, interview them. So we're brought in throughout the process, but also it's our choice to make. They're just helping us kind of comb through to find the right candidate for Clinton.
Mhm.
And like I said, having done that before on our own, we conducted a search. It's very time consuming for the staff, for everyone. And like I said, their real value is kind of their network and also assessing the needs, and they're devoted to the search. So
I just have a couple of questions. I'm just gonna rattle them all off if that's
Sure.
okay, just so I can get them all out.
yeah.
How many? Well, so actually, my first one before I ask the next one, did we just post this job like we post any other job? It was just a regular kind of posting out to to the public, right?
Yeah.
How many candidates did we get? How many did you all interview, and did you make an offer to anybody?
We posted it as we are like legally required to
Yeah.
locally, but the Mass Municipal Association has a website that nearly all towns of Massachusetts will post their job openings, and that could be from we need substitute teachers to town administrators. So that is kind of like the area that everyone goes to, made public on our website, et cetera. I do not have the numbers off the top of my hand. They were just, I believe, about 50 candidates. We
50.
had the.
50.
Sorry, 50. We had the human resources manager come through and remove anyone that didn't hit our initial qualifications based on the job posting. And then that was, then the resumes were sent to this board, and we had a rubric, a chart in which we scored the candidates and said, you know, I feel like this person meets the criteria, does not meet the criteria, not qualified. And I will say all the resumes were scrubbed for any names or any personal information. So we didn't know who these people were. They were just qualifications. The human resources director then tabulated all of those scores. And then we met with, well, our attempt was to start with the top 3 candidates. And then there would be one that would dissipate. Then we add another. I think in total we met with 5 or 6.
Yeah, I think we approved going up to 7.
7,
Because it
yeah.
initially was, like you said, 5. One had removed
Removed them,
themselves,
yeah.
so then we added 3.
Yeah, it kind of went on for a couple weeks as people were starting. We had again, interviewed with the 4 of us, myself, human resources, school superintendent, and another town administrator with experience. And we interviewed 4 people, and then we as a group decided to not move forward with those candidates. And we felt it was in the best interest of the town to kind of regroup and extend Michael for another year. And then this is kind of the general timeframe that's been recommended to me from Community Paradigm to start the process again. A lot of town administrators, similar to our situation, work on a fiscal year contract. So anyone looking for a job will be looking for it in the spring. So given our circumstances last time, we started rather late into summer. So we don't really feel like that candidate pool was a strong one.
Have we used a search firm for other roles
Assistant.
recently?
Yeah.
Assistant town administrator.
And the DPW superintendent.
Yeah.
The super that we have now?
Yes.
And also HR.
HR. Yeah.
But if I may, Madam
Yes.
Chair, you know, I just think, the board knows I feel the same way. I just think that, first of all, starting with the 4-person committee is a flawed committee in the first place. I don't know of any committee that's ever been an even number. I think it should always be.
Finance committee is 6.
I'm sorry?
There's 6. So
Well, I'm just saying how I feel about it, Sean. I think I'm entitled to my opinion. Of
course.
This is what I go through all the time. But anyways, I just know that in my opinion, if it's an odd number, being a 7-person committee, and I just think the whole thing was flawed. And it never really came to us as a board. We never saw. We saw who some of the candidates. I think there was 14 that they came down from. I think it was 54 down to 14. And again, the names were scrubbed, so we couldn't see who the names were, which is appropriate as far as I'm concerned. But I just think the whole process was so flawed. I mean, I don't really think that we need to pay $14,000 to have someone tell us he's going to go to the same MMA, they're going to go to the same things that are out there that we can do. And I mean, it's whatever you decide is fine, but I still think that the town can do. And as far as I'm concerned, we used him for the HR person for Christine, not for Ray, the one previously. We did it for the candidate who got the job and then left. And in both cases, they only lasted a year and then they left. So I don't call that a real success percentage. So I honestly think that we could do just as well ourselves, having a 7-person committee and with some very qualified people from this town. It's been successful in the past. Why wouldn't it work now?
Do you all think that this person would have how would this person have or this firm have a bigger reach in terms of finding somebody?
So one of the part owners of the company is a professor at a university down in Boston who specializes in leadership courses. So there's a lot of municipalities that send their employees to for that coursework. So this individual is able to see the communities that are investing in their employees and really get a strong network working there. On top of the individual had been a town manager in the city of Burlington for an extensive period of time, was in Harvard as well. So their network is far beyond what our reach would be. In speaking with this individual, as he said, they're not trappers, they're hunters, right? They go out looking for the right person, for the right position. And contrary to what was just said, I think you would be hard pressed to find anybody who was not impressed with our former assistant town administrator without getting into their departure. That was lightning in a bottle, and that was not someone who just went onto the MMA website and applied.
I know at one point there was talks about, I think it was a search firm giving us feedback that finding a treasurer would probably be very difficult.
At that salary.
Yeah. At that.
I was on.
At that salary or treasurers in general?
At that
Oh,
salary, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I was on that subcommittee. I can't get an answer to it, Madam Chairman. The town did use a consultant, and he wasn't the first consultant. The company that they want to use for the administrator. And I guess, again, I'll say what I was told, that they chose not to take on the search for that position because it was going to be so difficult to fill that position. And so anyways, we did, and we did interview. And the consultant that was used by the town of Clinton did say at that point in time that it was going to be very difficult, excuse me, to fill that position with a professional person that had the qualifications. Number one, because the job that the amount of money that the town was offering was inadequate. And number two, most people with the credentials that could do that job weren't going for municipal jobs because they could do better in the private sector. So, so consequently, when we did the interviewing process, it was very evident that there really was no one that was qualified. And certainly after having Mr. Kittredge for 10 years, who was certainly, in all the years I've been here, probably one of the best. He did a fantastic job, and I think just by the nature of, we look at our bond ratings and that are so important to what, we go out, we have to borrow money. It's vital to have it where it is. And he did a fabulous job. And so it's going to be very difficult. I think no matter what you have for the money that's in that, it's going to be hard to find someone very qualified.
So to the point of the consultants were never offered the opportunity, so there was never any denial that took place. That came directly from the owner, directly to me. Okay, so my word is what it is, but that's exactly what he said to me. Secondly, the consultant that we ended up going with was at a significant disadvantage to start, because I believe it was over 90 days between the closing of the position when the resumes came in and when it went out to contacting. Okay, so that timeline, made it a challenge to begin with. But that's
My reason for asking that question has there been any indication that this position would potentially be difficult? Like the impression that I got was that it's going to be hard to fill the treasurer position because mostly because people with those qualifications can do better in the private sector. Is this like one of those positions as well?
Well,
Or has there been any, like, has there been
Well,
a
I guess
conversation
having-
about that?
been through the process already, I don't want to set us up for a rather difficult search or to fail again. It's interesting to talk to other, having a town administrator as part of the search committee. I mean, our first hurdle when we first came through here was salary, which was corrected. And now Michael has received that salary for the past year at the elevated rate. But it's also interesting to hear when you're talking to the community paradigm who have been in that position, and also to speak to someone who has been in that position, who is helping with the search committee, and to know like what that type of job is up against. And I will share, like, during the interviews, I would come away and say, wow, I liked what this person had to say. And the town administrator or the superintendent, like, they would say, well, that's kind of like what every town, I'm like, that's not happening here. So I think in looking at what we want in the future, want to make sure that, the people, like Matt said, this is someone who works with a lot of different towns, works with a lot of different people in this position, who I think can see what, where we've been and what we want to do moving forward, and try and find candidates that fit that profile similar to our assistant town administrator. So, I feel like the search was very well organized. I felt like our human resources manager did absolutely that kept us on track. The best thing, they've been filling positions, but I think this is a very important position, and I want to make sure we do it well and do it right and get the right person in for Clinton, so that we can move forward.
And just out of curiosity, see, you,
Go ahead.
oh, thanks. So you created a list of attributes and you went through quite a process. So in theory, the candidates you got met all the criteria that you set. Is that correct? I mean, so you said,
They met the bare requirements, and then those people were ranked by their, I guess, additional qualifications. So if we said, we're looking for X experience, anyone who didn't have that experience would be weeded out from the initial.
I get it. So I'm assuming that the people that you met with met your criteria.
We didn't meet.
You
with
can't
them.
really,
We,
yeah.
we never met them.
Well, so legally, we have to set forth 2 candidates to this board to make a choice. We can't just say 1 or 2, this is our candidate, because that's not part of the process. And so we found we had 1 candidate. We did not have 2. So we can't put so the next part of that process would have had the either 1, 2, or 3 candidates come and interview with this board, talk about their experience, their criteria. Of the top 6, we did not, as a group, feel comfortable moving forward.
Because you
with
only had
2.
1.
We only felt like we had 1.
But the 4 still.
Out of 50, you
one
only
thing.
had 1 candidate that you felt comfortable with?
Mhm.
Well,
I mean, we had a few that we felt were good candidates, but for whatever reason, they withdrew. And we're kind of following what's going on. A lot of times then there'll be an announcement that this person took a job here. There'll be, with similar qualifications. So you can imagine they're not just interviewing for jobs in Clinton. They are interviewing for jobs everywhere. If we're not kind of on our game, moving quickly, then that's where it is. Sorry, Bill, go ahead.
If I may,
Mhm.
I don't want to really revisit the past as much as I just want a couple of clarifications. One, or make a couple of clarifications. and I'll note that I've been absent a little bit lately. But I'm unaware of when this Board of Selectmen voted to conduct a new search and voted to ask for funding from the Finance Committee. And I have no doubt if we didn't vote and we did now, what the outcome would be. But I think we're putting the cart before the horse and approaching the Finance Committee for funding when this board hasn't even determined what it wants to do. And I know there's a consensus amongst some of us, but there's a process that should be followed in that we make motions, we have discussion, we go over different points of view, and then the majority rules and we go forward. And to my knowledge, we never voted to initiate a new search, and we never voted to seek funding from the Finance Committee for that purpose. The search that was conducted last year, I would characterize it as it was a failure, and not necessarily due to the efforts or the work of people that conducted the search, because it was destined for failure, because there's numerous, and at that time there were 40 open town administrator positions in the Commonwealth. And there is not a pool of candidates out there that are just waiting around for Clinton to come around and ask them to be their town administrator. The consultant has the same access to the pool of candidates. He knows who they are, he knows them better than we would, but they're not there. Good, experienced town administrators, we didn't have one apply for our position, to my knowledge. And if there's good ones out there and they're not retiring, they're staying right where they are because they're happy there. There's not all of a sudden Clinton's looking and we have a consultant now and they have a secret stash of town administrators waiting to come. It's not there. So what we will end up with, if you look around, just around our neighborhood, West Boylston's on their fourth town administrator in 4 years. Sterling, Lancaster, they've had a merry-go-round of town administrators too. It seems like they've settled down and they've got something that they can work with, and I think that's great. Bolton is a new town administrator there. So what we end up with, whether the town conducts its own search or hires a consultant to do that, are wannabes and retreads who didn't survive in their previous positions. And I don't think it's worth the town's money to put $15,000 or $14,000 into a search where the people that we want don't exist. That's the problem. That's why we failed. The one candidate they had, from my opinion, or from what I picked up, was at best a B-level candidate, and certainly not an A and maybe a C. So just saying they had one doesn't mean it would have been a good one for Clinton. So there's just as many searches going on right now, and the resource is the MMA. I don't know what you call the flyer, the book, the monthly report, and anyone in public administration that's looking for a job or considering changing jobs looks there first. They don't go to consultants and ask them if there's anything open for them. They look at that annual, and if we're in it and they're interested, they're going to apply, but they don't exist. That's the problem that we face. And I would hate to see the town invest $15,000 and get a mediocre candidate and hire them just because they don't want to say we failed again. So my opinion is I would urge you to deny this request that I didn't know we had made, and ask the Board of Selectmen to find a better way of resolving this problem.
Has anyone used a recruiter before to get a job?
I'm sorry?
Has anyone been hired by has anyone been approached for employment from a recruiter?
Has anyone been, I don't understand
Has
what
someone
you're
come to
asking.
me?
Have you ever gotten a job from a recruiter?
No,
No, I have. I've gotten 2.
congratulations.
So that person says, I found you. I think you're a good person for this job. and we're hiring you. So I was not looking for a job, and someone reached out to me and said, I think you'd be good for this job in 2 ways. So to Matt's point, these people aren't just posting it on their website. They're going after people who are good fits for this job.
Can I just
Mhm.
say one thing?
So can I ask?
So with Mr. Conley, back on November 5th, we had this conversation about town administrator search process, in which you said at our next meeting, I would like to present an idea that I have about the process. So you have been involved in the discussion. There hasn't been a vote taken place. Are you disputing that?
I'm disputing that a vote was taken.
I never said a vote was taking
Oh,
place,
okay.
but you had, but to
That's
say
all
that
right.
you were not aware of any process that this, you were entertaining this.
It was under consideration.
So then why would you make a presentation the following meeting on November
I never
5th?
said I was going to make a presentation. I had ideas and
You were going to
we,
present to this
and we
board.
never discussed.
You were
I
going to present
discussed
to this
with
board.
you. And that's not a discussion by the board in open session about ideas.
No, at our meeting, you said on November 5th, you had ideas you wanted to present to this board at a later meeting.
And
That
I'm
never
presenting
happened.
some of it right now, man.
No, but it never happened. So to say that you weren't aware of any process is false.
There is no
I
process.
think this is getting off track.
Can I ask a,
Okay.
There was no
So-
process.
when we were looking for a superintendent and we had a professional search, I believe that brought us candidates. Yeah.
Correct.
Remember
Steve was
correctly.
with
I'd
me,
have
so-
to go back and,
I think we-
I was on
I'm
that
just-
board. I was
Yeah,
on
so,
that
yeah,
board.
well, when I was, anyway. So here's the question. One of the things that was discussed, and again, I'm no idea about your discussions, was salary range and the competitiveness of the, let's call it a municipal offer. Whatever, I don't, because I have no idea, but the one thing, and again, I'm not trying to pick an argument, but the thing that, with a professional search firm, and in my search, their name came up in the top 5. And they had deep mass municipal government experience. That's a good thing. But the question I have is, are we going to be able to make a competitive offer? So, because they do have candidates. I think the advantage that a firm has like that is they have an awareness of a number of people in town governments that are capable, but I don't know what the job description from your side is and how competitive it is so that the candidates would be interested in coming to Clinton. Okay, I mean, because really that was part of the discussion. What's the package we can offer a superintendent to come here versus somewhere else? And if it's not competitive, then we're not
Well,
going to
we-
get a candidate.
Yeah.
Right.
this
And I
was a
don't know,
discussion
and I
we
don't
did-
know.
We did increase the salary.
Yes.
So when this search first kicked off, we did increase the salary.
And
So-
is that competitive?
We were
Year
told it
ago
was,
was.
yes, we were told it was.
Yeah.
Based on some research. So my last thing I'll say, and, obviously anyone from my board, I'm happy to, you all could make a motion to approve this. My opinion, and I would vote against this because I feel as though we just keep throwing money at problems, trying to fix them. And there's a lot of positions open right now, and I'm just not comfortable moving forward with it at this time. I think there needs to be maybe more of a strategy of how are we going to fill all of these roles instead of just trying to put fires out along the way.
I'll make a motion that we do not approve the $14,000 for a consultant.
I could second that.
All
Second it.
Yes.
all in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Aye.
It would be helpful to come forward with, I think I should put the process, the positions that are open.
What other position, the assistant town administrator, I'm assuming?
And it may be that
Treasurer.
X
So-
percentage of them are within our HR department. And some percent we may say, hey, listen,
And the
these 3 positions, whatever they are, really need
you're not gonna-
So
better,
the treasurer.
better
collector,
searchers than what we can get here.
We,
But I
I
think
don't know
that
if you've been
process-
following along, but
I'm sorry?
I said the treasurer collector, I don't know if everyone's been following along with that, but Michael has suggested we keep with the consultant.
And you
I don't
all
know if
feel
everyone's aware
comfortable
of
with
that.
that?
To stay him as a consultant.
Yes.
not-
Per our town administrator's recommendation.
I didn't know that that had happened.
Right.
But I
right.
knew that, the town accountant told us in one of our meetings that she was very pleased with the relationship she had with that fellow and hoped that the board would continue it, so.
Madam
Was that one of
Chairman, I
the
agree
positions
with
we're
Mike.
discussing?
I think we're,
Huh?
I said, is that one of the open positions that was a vote down of this? Because of,
I'm
Because of
not
all the
talking
open
about the
positions.
I'm just commenting on your.
Right. Madam Chair, just, I agree. I mean, we are lucky that we have this gentleman that, is willing to stay on. But again, his contract is almost $100,000 a year. Okay? I mean, certainly, I would want, and believe that the goal of the town of Clinton is to get a full-time treasurer again.
Yeah.
I think it makes more sense. We're very fortunate to be in the situation that we are, that we have somebody qualified, because it's a vital, important job. But I would agree that I think long-term, the best interest for the town of Clinton is to have a full-time treasurer that's on site all the time.
But we need more than $100,000 for that.
yeah, I was gonna say,
Spoiler.
yeah.
Does this contract call for so many hours
Yeah,
a
I
week?
think
or
that's
so many
correct. I
hours
think
a
that's
month?
Correct, but I think if
Oregon.
you figure the hours on the hourly wage, it does come to close to $100,000.
So-
That's not long, but
So you're,
my calculations, I think that's what it comes to.
so the town administrator and the town accountant have said that they want the consultant to stay on for $100,000, and you're saying you don't want that. And you feel it should be a full-time
Are you talking to
position.
me?
Yeah.
I'm
just
saying that I
reiterating what
think
you
we're
said.
very fortunate right now to have the situation that we have this gentleman that's willing to do this job. But I'm saying long-term, future, yes, I would like to see a full-time treasurer. That's what I'm saying. Yes, plain and simple.
I think,
That's what this board said also, based upon.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
I agree,
think
we
that's
all agree.
so we took our vote. If it sounds like you all probably need to get on the same page first in terms of this process, and then maybe we can have another discussion
meeting.
about it.
Oh,
And maybe it's more of it's a discussion of like the broader kind of strategy, instead of just, asking for the consultant and, us taking a vote on it.
Yeah, definitely.
Just so I'm clear,
Yeah.
what positions are we talking about? I count two.
And the assistant town administrator and the
Town
treasurer, what's the plan for
We
the
took
treasurer?
the treasurer.
Okay, but it sounds like you all aren't on the same page
We
about
are.
whether or not the consultant is staying on or should stay on or.
It's already agreed and finalized,
Yeah.
or they're in negotiation now, based upon the direction of this board. That was unanimous.
So is it two?
Are there any
Yeah.
other options out there?
For what?
What?
A town administrator? I
Well,
mean,
yeah, there has to be. Our town administrator is leaving in July. So we have.
Does he want to leave in July?
Actually, we're not going to do this again.
I know.
So
Sorry,
do we
you
have
had
to
a
have this
question?
all done by July?
Yes.
I mean, I know nothing about politics, but it seems like a lot of other towns around us are having the same problem. Do we change our form of government, which is probably crazy, but there's something out there that's causing a problem.
Change our form of government?
I think
Well,
that was,
that's a long
that was
process.
explored, that was
We
explored.
can't get over this hill. We can't get over this hill.
You're not gonna change this form of government like July.
20 years.
That I can guarantee you.
And it's a 2-year process.
Well, other people are having the same problem we're having. There's something,
Well, we're.
It's a job search. People
Yeah,
leave jobs
you know.
all the time. It's really isn't an existential threat here. Like people look for new jobs all the time. We just have to find somebody.
So the current town manager won't stay. If you talk to him, no?
Well, he agreed to
My
stay for the
opinion-
year.
If he were asked, he would stay.
In your
In my
opinion, just so
opinion.
that's clear.
Yeah, I said that first,
Yeah.
Madam Chair.
Just reiterating it.
So I got a quick question, just.
Yeah.
So for the assistant town administrator, what salary range are we looking at? Because I'm fairly new and we became up. I'm just gonna look at what's the range of the salary.
That was recently reclassified
Correct?
because we felt that it was too low. And
So what amount is that?
yeah, I'm sorry, my brain.
Is it a maximum? What,
If
is it
you-
like 140? Up to 140 it could be?
Yeah,
47.
147.
And what's the range for the town administrator?
Well, currently it's at 189.
And the reason I'm asking is I'm gonna wanna see so the specific job description for the town administrator versus what the assistant's gonna be doing. Cause that makes a big difference.
Yeah,
in
our-
payment and what, responsibilities.
Our HR manager has been working on updating the job descriptions. They have not been maintained, shall we say?
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
So.
But I'm gonna wanna see that stuff, is what I'm saying. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay.
So there's one other question. So you want to have hypothetically, let's assume at some point we go with this consulting firm. You want to have 3 candidates as the final. You want to be able to select.
Let me clarify that. We couldn't go from a subcommittee and just say, the 4 of us have decided on this one candidate. You need to have multiple candidates for this board to choose from, or search committee. So if we did move forward with the search committee, those people would just be narrowing it down. The ultimate decision is ours.
I was just wondering if they can guarantee, if we go forward, are they going to come up and say, hey, wait, I can only find,
Well,
can that be written into
That's
the
why we
proposal?
want to have someone recruit for it.
The
So we don't
searches-
have one candidate.
Well, I'm just wondering if they
The
would
searches
guarantee
I've
that they
been
would.
part
I can't guarantee anything.
over the years have always stipulated to the screening committee a range of 3 to 5
Yeah.
eligible candidates. And what usually happens is because people are in various parts of their journeys in applying for these jobs, and the best and the brightest get scooped up the quickest.
Right.
So whatever you come up with, you're bound to lose 2 in that process of getting to the end.
Right.
So you have to have at least, in my opinion, 3 for the full boards to vote on.
And we probably could have put forth 3 candidates, but we just didn't feel like they were the right fit for Clinton. So we made that choice.
I get it.
So we weren't looking to just get anybody. We're looking to get someone who will work for Clinton.
You don't have to share this if you don't want to, but if Michael decides he's gonna wrap his tent and leaves, who's gonna take over? And if you don't have an assistant administrator, who's gonna take over for a while? And you don't have to answer that, but I'm just curious.
Other towns have hired a temporary town administrator. And
are they
I've
available?
spoken to a few.
Are they available people?
Yeah, one said they were available in January.
Okay, that's good. Good, thank you.
Well, Bill just said Mike would stay.
They don't, I don't think,
They've asked.
I don't think the majority wants them.
Oh,
I mean, we answered the question, right?
Yeah, we have. That's right. man.
Yeah,
They said,
I guess next
make
was
a
just
to
the.
give us the money.
adjourn?
We said, no, why aren't we done?
Assistant town administrators.
Yeah. So.
second my motion.
I second it, yeah.
All in favor to adjourn, right?
Yes.
We have to adjourn ours. Yes. Thank you.
I heard we motion. I said, no. Excuse me for a second. Yeah.
I'm calling the select board meeting for Wednesday, January 7th, 2026 to order. First up, pledge of allegiance.
Oh, we can just-
Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Is anyone here for public comment? Okay, next on the agenda, review of meeting minutes for December 17th. I just have a correction to that. Sorry. Um. The meeting minutes for the Strand, I had the public, or I had the, held a public meeting, sorry. Held the hearing portion of it, and then, it states that I asked, when the Strand was gonna be up and running. I think that was Mary who asked that question. So, just with that correction. The one that says, asked, when do you think the general public would be anxious to find out when you might be opening? Other than that, that was the only change I had. Anyone want to make a motion to?
I'll make a
with
motion
that change?
to accept the meeting minutes with the change.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next up is liquor license change of stock interest, 27 High Street. The select board received an application, the change of officer and change of stock interest from David M. Fisher to Chiara A. Campanella for an all alcohol restaurant license held at Arcoli Inc., doing business as Clinton's Bar and Grill on the premises located 27 High Street in Clinton. Hi, how are you?
My name is Dawson Cooper. I'm an attorney at Upton, Canal, and Devlin, representing Urkeley Inc. in this matter. As you stated, Urkeley Inc. is seeking approval for a change of stock ownership interest and a change in corporate officers. The current sole owner is transferring his entire ownership interest to Chiara Campanella, who has served as the licensee's approved manager of record since 2022. Her father's also the head chef and will remain so at the restaurant. As part of the transaction, the current officer and director will be resigning as the officer and director, and Ms. Campanella will be stepping into that role. While corporate ownership and leadership will change as part of this transaction, both parties will maintain their longstanding professional rapport and personal friendship. Operationally, Clinton's Bar and Grill is going to remain the same. Apart from me being here in this meeting and telling you that this is changing, you won't notice a change in menu or staff or anything. This is just kind of a corporate change that they're going through. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
Okay. I don't think this is a hearing, just as an application. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. What's the pleasure of the board?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the change of stock interest from David M. Fisher to Chiara A. Campanella for an all alcohol restaurant license held by Ercoli Inc., DBA Clinton's Bar and Grill on the premises located at 27 High Street in Clinton.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
You're all set?
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
All right, next up is the town administrator report. Is Michael joining?
We got.
Oh,
we have
right.
David.
Oh, David Sadowski, sorry. Even after you introduced yourself. If you could state your name and address, please.
Sure.
Good evening, Madam Chair and board members. My name is David Sadowski. I reside at 7 Cedar Street here in Clinton. I'm the principal of DJ and Associates, and I'm here representing the Bateses. For about 2.5 to 3 months now, I've been with Mr. Ward trying to get in front of the board to talk about a possible right-of-way up at the dump. The Bateses have done quite a bit of work up in that area. They have a lay-down yard in the back section. I do have some maps if I could approach the board and put them out.
Sure.
David, have you talked to, DPW superintendent on this?
I have talked to him a little bit about it, but he said I should probably come before the selectmen and see how this feels.
But what was his opinion of,
He said he didn't have an opinion either way, but he didn't see it as a bad thing.
okay.
There's nothing in the packet about this, right?
Right now, this is the entrance way to the building. There's a couple of pools over here that MWRA, or whatever they call them, has for settling basins, and then the cap is in this area. So he was saying, he's in there, the gate is over in here. You can see South Meadow Road. You can see the gate area. This is the pools that MWRA, or whatever the name is, has for
Oh,
settling.
that's where they put their sludge.
Yeah, the sludge. And then this is the cap zone. You can see these are some of the plans. Although it's like my office. The roadway comes up in this area right now. It goes off to the right here that would used to go up into the old rifle range area. And then this one circles out into the back where the laydown area was. I know the Bates still have a key to the front, but they're not comfortable if they ever go in here because they really don't have authority to do something like that. So what they'd like to try to do is over this roadway system, establish a right of way that they would be able to use and come up here. And as part of that, if there was ever any need of repair, new pavement or anything like that, it could be done by them at their cost, not any cost to the town. But they would be able to access the piles and other things they have here and perhaps store some of their equipment and other things for summer or for winter, the plowing equipment they use in town. Winter could go there in summer and vice versa. So John asked me if I would come in and talk to the board about the possibility of establishing a right of way up to that area. It's something that I'm a civil engineer, I'm a land surveyor, and a soil scientist. My company could go up and establish boundaries of the right of way and even have something marked off that they'd have to stay within and not stray beyond.
Dave,
And it would show the
Dave,
extent.
would they be using this every day? Or is this just a sporadic thing?
This, Mary, as I understand it, I'm sorry if I'm calling
No, that's fine.
her. Well, I used to always say Mary Rose.
Yeah, no, that's
She
fine.
rebranded.
But I heard you heard someone say Mary tonight, so I wasn't sure if it went to a change.
No, that's fine.
Anyways, it's not something that will be used daily. It will be sporadically, maybe twice a week is what I was told it would happen. You know, when they had to go up and when they didn't, to move some equipment there. At the end of the plowing season, there might be 3 or 4 times during that specific week where things are brought in. But it wouldn't be something where they're driving up there every morning, picking stuff up and then taking it out. It was just, because they have some other yards. They have
Yeah.
one up in Sterling, they have another one in Leominster, they have another one. They have some of their equipment at their office that's getting worked on all the time. And a lot of times, when they're working a job that's going on, the equipment stays there for a year, year and a half, and it doesn't move till they get another job. Because it costs so much to move equipment.
Sure.
So that's what they'd like to explore, and they wanted me to come down informally, come before you and see how this board felt about something like
Are they keeping property? They have stuff on the property now?
that. There's spoil piles and other things that are up there. There's no equipment
Uh-huh.
that I saw anyways. When I went up there, I walked it one time. John had a key, and we went in and we walked up.
How would this proposed right of way correlate with, and I don't know if it's a right of way, but whatever kind of an easement, didn't we
For
grant
solar.
the solar, for solar development up there?
Mhm.
Isn't there another right of way
Mhm.
already approved?
I believe so.
And they have the same, I believe, responsibility regarding any improvements on the road. I'm just wondering if it's the same.
Now, is that the 15.2 acre parcel that was talked about last night at the planning board?
I wasn't at that.
Was that another one that came, there was someone up here that was talking about a parcel, and I think I do have some.
There's a local family that owns this land up here. And
There's 28 acres, 15.2 is in Clinton, and someone's on the other side, and then in front of the
Yeah.
board last night, they were gonna have an access through Sterling to get to the Clinton land. So when you started talking about right away, I knew it couldn't go the same, they are talking about putting a solar field on 60% of their 15 acres, which would be below where this right away is. There's some property up here that's also owned by John William Bates. That was up at the top, and here's the town of Clinton here. This is the Clinton Sterling line that goes through here. That other group is over in here, and I believe they were drawing frontage here. I didn't go up and look at what was happening.
I think if I'm not mistaken, the easement also related to the telephone poles,
lines,
right, the
right.
power lines through.
Right.
Yeah. So that would make sense for
So I do know that this piece up here is a Bates piece. So if anything was gonna get stored on it, it would stay on the Bates property up in there, but it would be a right of way to get to and get back.
can you show me where you're saying, what,
This piece here. There's a piece here in Sterling, here's a piece here.
where would the old quarry be?
The old quarry. Oh, I got that.
Sorry, we just
Two of these.
didn't get anything in our pocket about this, so.
Yeah,
a little
It's
confused.
the first we've heard about any of this.
Right, well, that's why I wanted to put it in. Anyways, there's an old quarry up in here.
Yes.
The rifle range.
No, the rifle range. What's the triangle?
This triangle piece is right here. That's this piece here.
Not the-
There's another roadway bill that goes down. When I was a Boy Scout, Troop 10, we used to have a campsite in there with Frank Miller.
Yeah.
This is that road that went down where the brook comes across. And then this goes up into the hills.
Yeah.
Brook is in this area.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah, it would be
So the
right.
rifle range is up here.
It
The quarry is over here.
Right.
I think it's that light area
Yes.
where your finger is right there. Yeah, because then you
We
can
used to
continue
have
on.
campsites in this area here. It's completely different.
Who are you saying owns the area where the quarry?
I'm not saying anyone that I'm talking about over here.
Oh, okay.
This triangle piece here. It's
Yeah.
in Clinton completely shown on this map here. And then this also showing that Bates on Moreland up in this area. I'm not sure this plan is an older plan, but that's what these are, and then that 28 acres that they're putting the solar field on, it's going to be a 9-acre solar field. 9 acres of the actual structures themselves out of the 15. They have to clear that much because they were saying that to maximize the field, you have to have sun from 10 to 2. They can have 4 straight hours of it, doesn't really matter afterwards. So you want to clear so far because the sun is over here. I got an education on that. So that is the request to be able to have right away to come up and get into this.
And didn't they have one when they owned all of the land up there?
I thought they always did.
I have no idea.
Yeah. They owned, the old quarry at one point.
Yeah.
And
They never went down.
no, but, well, it wasn't always a dump either, but they had access from South Meadow Road
Yeah.
back to the back land there.
Well, maybe they just want, maybe John just wants to get it clarified or whatever. All I know is that he asked me to come before the board. and-
Clarification would be great. It's very cloudy. I have no idea what's going on. So
So you're saying the previous owner had a right of way and?
No, Bates always had a, I think Bill's trying to say they always had a right of way. As I recall, I mean, I'm going back to the 80s that they had the right of way.
is that written
No,
down anywhere?
that's when the 3 brothers, Tad and
Yeah.
John, Big John and the other.
Kibble.
We're all, and we're all like.
Madam Chair?
Have these noted somewhere or
Oh,
like,
I'm surprised that.
Well, Dave, wouldn't that be down the
okay,
town clerk?
okay.
Wouldn't that be the town clerk's? Have you checked with the town clerk?
No,
I think it's worth going down to see
Okay.
if it's registered down there. the right
maybe
of
if it's
way.
registered right away, then it's already right away. But I do know one thing, that the quarry and stuff are up here, which is off the road this way. I don't know if they've ever had a road access to go into
But
this.
that was always their land. Madam Chair?
Well, I mean, it shows right here that this is the land back up in here, but it also shows inhabitants of the town of Clinton on this side. So really, the families know whether they agree if it's time, if they don't, or what they did. None of those guys are on it.
So
Madam Chair,
we're talking about like maybe poor record keeping, is that what we're talking about?
well, I'm the one that raised the idea that there may already be a right way, and I don't know that to be true, but what I'd like to say is informally that if it's as I understand it, I wouldn't be opposed to it as long as it didn't intrude on the existing rights that were already granted to the solar people.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Okay. So maybe some action items coming out of this topic is to check what right of ways for an existing. Yeah. And then to,
There could be an easement by prescription, and there could be also an easement that, if this was used years ago, that it's still listed as possible.
okay,
Just full evidence, this,
yeah,
all different types, it's 7 or 2 different types of easements that the surveyor.
okay.
The stock was another one.
And I think it,
I would concur with Bill though, Dave. I would check on that. I think there is an existing right of way.
right.
Well, I mean, there's an existing trail for sure.
Yeah.
And I know they used to use it before, but maybe if they thought that if they discontinued using it for 5 or 10 years, that they have to come in and get it reaffirmed.
Yeah.
I'm not positive.
Okay,
I don't want to speak out of turn.
Sure.
yeah,
I'm just, since the long.
yeah,
Basically, they want to be able to travel from South Meadow, which is over here, along the roadway that's there and get back into the back. I guess that'd be the best way to, it wouldn't be they'd be parking on Clinton land or town of Clinton land or anything like that. It would be on the property that's owned by the company.
yeah. I mean, conceptually, I don't have, but I'm like,
Right.
I honestly, looking at these maps, I'm not really sure.
That's why I wanted to come in.
Yeah,
So we should in here that this is in the, then
Okay.
think of more things to say the next time.
okay. And I think it would be, yeah, a Cedar Street gal myself. Okay, nice. Okay, so check with the easements. I think confirm, you said verbally the DPW didn't have a problem with it. We'll check with that. Oh,
And I'll go down, he gets in at 7,
mhm,
just talk to him and tell him what was up, he's gonna say.
okay. Maybe we can just, maybe we could just solidify that among our office with something in writing, so we don't have
Yeah.
a,
And yeah, and then I'll.
You're not
I'll see
caught
if
in a
I can-
quagmire
I'll
of
see if I can get
poor
it on
record
the
keeping.
agenda
yeah, perfect.
And come forward.
Okay,
Madam Chair, just one other bit of advice
Mhm.
to the petitioner.
Sure.
That something of this nature probably requires a town meeting vote. I would check with town council or the Bates attorney, because it's in the nature of transferring land rights. And I don't believe this board can do it unilaterally.
Now, would it be a land right or would it just be an access over a town property?
That's for you to check with a lawyer.
Well,
I'm
that's
just
why-
giving you that
that's why I
suggestion.
say a roadway was that a right up. And a right away would just allow them to pass, repass, and to, like I said, fix or make improvements if necessary.
Trying to help you, David. I'm not trying to.
I know you don't, Bill, but I'm just trying to clarify, saying you're not gonna put a road in here to get frontage.
Yeah.
Make it lots of. That's not the intent of this at all.
okay.
But in transferring land rights to town, I don't believe the Board of Selectmen can just do it, like a lease, or a lease of land has to be authorized by the town meeting.
Okay.
It's something you should check,
And
that's all.
I'm doing the same thing in Worcester. At the end of Grafton Street at the Millbury line, there's no sewer line for the last 400 feet. So I have a developer that wants to build on the last parcel, so he needs to go before city council to get improvement because the city owns the road. They can't go before engineering because the city has to formally, they don't have a city vote, but the city board has to have it reviewed by DPW, and it's got to come back to the subcommittee, and then the subcommittee sends it back to DPW, and the DPW makes the decision whether extending the sewer is a good idea or a bad idea. And then conservation gets a look at it too. So it's a year process.
Yeah.
Goes through a lot.
Okay, so we're checking to see if there's any other easements. We're confirming if there, any current rights of way. We're checking with town council as to whether it has to be a voted town meeting and checking with the DPW. Can you guys work with him on that? All right. Thank you for the pre-read.
So my last name is Sadowski, that's what I'm not happy saying. That's what we both have.
I'm a Cedar Street gal myself, so 72.
Well,
All right. Thank you, sir.
thank you for allowing me to be before.
Oh, just drop something by
That's a piece.
right there. Plus you need it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next on the agenda is the town administrator report.
Madam Chair, just a couple items to bring to the board's attention. One is the Sterling, 172 Sterling Street Committee. I discussed with the Economic Development Director the specialty positions that he had proposed. He has identified individuals, but they're still waiting for citizen input. So still recruiting for anyone from the community that would like to serve on that committee to develop a RFP reuse request for proposals for the reuse of the property development. So if anyone's out there that would like to submit their names, would be welcome for that.
Just citizens. For that.
Yeah.
So does that mean that they've identified people
Identified.
for each? I know that there, from what I vaguely remember, there was talk about having I think someone even on like the Chamber of Commerce.
Right.
So all of those positions have been filled or they've been contacted about?
I think they've been contacted. That there's a list of people, so I don't know if I want to say their names because I don't
Yeah.
like if they've been, but they have contacted someone for legal, Chamber of Commerce, and like property. I think like Dave Bears from the assessors was willing to want about property value type thing. And I think he said in a financial person as well too, I believe.
Yeah, like commercial, no, it wasn't not commercial lending, it was something I forget.
Yeah. So I think those were the four people that Phil had indicated that he had identified, so, and spoken to, I believe, so, yeah. So, another item that I wanted to, just to bring to the board, I'm sure some members have been getting some public feedback from, but the traffic light engineer was working with the DPW to try to kind of rectify some previous complaints that we had of traffic backing up the hill on Water Street, more towards like the Philbin Como Funeral Home from High Street at the intersection. So they made some adjustments to the light and it now seems to be causing backups into the Depot Square as well too. So just for people in the public, they are trying to work on that, try to come up with a solution. They have a company that comes out to make those adjustments. What they were trying to do was to try to stop the traffic coming from the post office side to allow more traffic to go through on the from the hill. But now that's causing backups on the other end. Again, they want to give some time to see if it would work, but it seems to be causing problems on both sides now. So,
Disaster.
yeah, so
I mean, if you put 18-wheeler into that mix, which it happens all the time, and literally, I've seen it all the way up to Philbin's, all the way down the other way. So what's happening now is if it's the light coming down Water Street, nothing's moving coming up from Prescott Mills. So it's only really perpetuated the whole problem because now it's really bottled up. You get one side moving, but the other side is just sitting there. So
yeah.
Bad idea.
Yeah, and I think too, as they indicated too, that it's being automatically monitored. So if cars are coming out of the post office and it creates a gap, so even if the green has come from the depot side and there becomes a gap of cars that are like
out from the post office, the light will then think there's no more cars coming, and it'll turn red again to allow the other side to come back down again. So they are looking at ways of making, either put it back the way it was, or making some other adjustments to try to
Put it back the way it was.
Try to stop. And then if cars are turning onto High Street and there's a delay, again, it's just causing more and more backup. So at certain times of the day, it was causing a major backup up the hill on Water Street. So that's what they were trying to affect, try to resolve, and it seems to be impacting other parts of the intersection. So I just wanted to kind of let the public know that that issue is being worked on as well. One other item, just wanted to let the board members were aware that we had an auction for 525 Water Street. The closing date was scheduled for just before the holidays. There seemed to be a question about the site plan, that there was never a original site plan put on file by the developer, so that needed to be redone. So the closing was extended 30 days into January here. So still working on that issue and hopefully come up with the resolve very shortly. So I think those are kind of some major items that I wanted to bring. I have some other updates that I will be providing later on that are yet kind of to fruition. So.
Okay. I know we exchanged an email about it today, but the select board email address has not been functioning since early November. So if anyone has sent us an email via that address, please know that it has not been received by us and to resend, but put a ticket in for it.
Yeah, there was a support ticket was put in today, so they're reviewing that now to see what, because it was working, so I don't know what had happened. So as soon as I get, I'll reach out to the chair as soon as I get feedback from the IT company.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Next up is administrative business, town hall use. The Clinton High School class of 2026 is requesting use of the town hall auditorium to host the senior hop dance on March 14th, 2026 from 6 to 9.
Madam Chair, make a motion to approve the town hall use request for the Clinton High School class of 2026. Town hall auditorium to host the senior hop dance on March 14th, 2026 from 6 p.m. until 9 p.m.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
5-0. Next up, old and new business, town hall decorative light policy. The continuation of our discussion on the policy related to decorative lights located at the tower of the town.
Madam Chair, I'll just ask that this be tabled.
Okay. Tabling. Next up is the town administrator position and process.
A continuation of a discussion that has taken place. I understand Mr. Connolly's point about this being a new board. So I wanted to put this on the agenda to discuss how this board would like to move forward and in any event, and if necessary, initiate the process this evening.
Madam Chair, if I may?
Yep.
Matt alluded to some ideas I had briefly discussed with him, and if it's okay with the board, I'd like to present them to you tonight for your consideration. That they haven't been detailed out or vetted out, but they're concepts that you might want to consider. If I may, I would suggest that the town consider engaging Mr. Ward for an additional 2 years, subject to the process of hiring an assistant town administrator with the stated intent of training that person and moving them into the permanent position 2 years when Mike's contract would terminate. I believe it gives the town the ability to pick up an individual that isn't necessarily thoroughly experienced in public administration, but has the potential to be a good leader and avail themselves of Mr. Ward's vast knowledge and experience over 2 years and be ready to step in at that point. And part of that would be that, first of all, obviously, whether or not Mr. Ward was willing to stay an additional 2 years under those types of conditions, and that he would delegate his hiring authority back to the Board of Selectmen for the Assistant Town Administrator position. That's the idea. There's all kinds of ways of implementing that, but that's idea one. And idea number two is I firmly believe that this town is capable, this board is capable of conducting a search on its own if it sets it up properly ahead of time. And part of that process, I would recommend a committee of 10 people plus an appointed chair. The chair would be appointed by the Board of Selectmen. The screening committee would be 10 individuals, two appointed by each member of this board, and no member of the board would serve on the screening committee. That their assignment would be to recommend to the board 3 to 5 qualified candidates for the position, if this is the direction the board chose to go, and that the method of success would be, or the reason I believe it would be successful, or could be successful, is that the agenda for the whole process be established prior to initiation. So X number of committee meetings are scheduled in advance, and their agendas are, pre-screen or eliminate X number of candidates, narrow the process down. But every part of the process is scheduled ahead of time in a 2 to 3 month window from advertising to execution of a contract. And I believe that could be successful. The hindrance is, and some of you have pointed it out, is my opinion is that the potential candidates come nowhere near what this town requires. And I recognize that the idea that a consultant could suggest to candidates that might be qualified that they should consider it. The downside to that, in my opinion, is we are not an attractive community for someone to come to. And I don't believe the salary is adequate to recruit somebody with knowledge and experience to do the job. Those are the hindrances that no method, whether it's a paid consultant or this board doing it on its own, can circumvent. And I propose, even if this was the direction you were going to go in, maybe requesting $5,000 from the screening committee and pay it to a consultant for X number of, or X dollars per successful candidate that makes it to the finalist list, or something like that. Those are just opinions. If you want to flush them out, feel free. I don't need credit for it, or just reject them out of hand. But those are my thoughts on the process. And the first one would be the one that I think would be most successful for the town.
I mean, I've been on the board for 4.5 years, and I feel like when we initially tried to do the ATA recruitment, our idea was to try to do succession planning, and we didn't get a lot of, I think, I'll say, cooperation with that. And having had an exit interview with the ATA, You know, I think when we say on paper, we would love this person to be trained by the current person and led and whatnot, like, I struggle with that a bit because I feel like there are some very basic things that we can't get right on a biweekly basis. And so it's hard for me to really give a lot of weight to a plan where it says, let's kind of keep the status quo and how things are operating and have that be the training ground for someone who might take over in 2 years. I mean, this has not been like a new discussion. It's been essentially the same discussion since I've been on the board. And I think that was what our goal was. And we've been trying to, I think, create an atmosphere, at least 4 years ago, of that happening. And I think you get to a point where you're trying to make that happen. And it's, maybe I'm being too vague, but I'm trying to be kind. It's that, I think, was our goal. Establish the ATA position, get someone in there, hope that a succession plan could be in place for a retirement, and then move forward. But I mean, there have been things that happened between the time where you were on the board before, maybe it happened before, and now that really make it a challenge to support that plan.
That's an opinion.
It is one I live with every week.
Madam Chair, do we know what the job description is? Like, at what point, where is the job description as far as readiness to be posted?
For the town administrator,
Yeah.
I can't answer that right now, but I do have a meeting with Ray tomorrow, so I can work on that time frame.
Yeah, I
Does
mean,
anyone-
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, does anyone have any other thoughts?
Sean was about to say
Yeah.
something.
I mean, we voted to extend the town administrator so that we could have a serious search, and I'm questioning whether that's, I mean, I'm hoping that's still the case, but we've burned half of the cushion that we built in, and now, you know, it seems like we're back to square one. So I think the priority has to be to get this job description finalized, agreed upon, and then figure out where we're going, apparently without a consultant, and just move this into gear. We've been talking about the same thing, it seems like, for a year, and I'm not sure why this is so difficult.
Madam Chair,
Mhm.
to Mr. Conley's point earlier, this board hasn't taken any action on this direction going forward. I think we've been operating under the direction of the previous board. So I would like to make a motion this evening to move forward with the search process for a town administrator.
Second.
Anything else? No. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
3-2.
Madam Chair,
Mhm.
I'd like to make a motion to direct the human resources manager to begin the process of posting this position, the town administrator position.
Just a point of clarification, are we gonna be able to see the job description before it goes up?
Yeah, we should. We should.
Yeah, so I'm happy to include that, but I would like that job description complete for our next meeting.
That's what I,
So let me withdraw and then, Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to direct the Human Resources Manager to have the town administrator job description complete for our next select board meeting and to begin preparing to post the town administrator position for our next meeting.
Mhm.
second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nice.
3-2. Okay. Assistant Town Administrator status?
Look, can I just, look,
Oh,
can we just go one more?
Sure.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to move forward with one of the suggestions made by Mr. Conley about appointing a chair and each select board member appointing 2 appointees to a screening committee. And I would like that appointed chair, an invitation for that appointed chair position extended to Dr. Meyer to see if he's interested and willing.
Second,
Any discussion?
timetable on, are we gonna reach out to Dr. Steve first and then,
Before next meeting.
and then get our 2 in, or should we?
I would say at least start with the chair.
Okay. That's fine. Second. I already seconded.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
4-1. Okay. Any more on this topic? All right. Next up is the second position, Assistant Town Administrator. I have a meeting scheduled with the Human Resources Manager tomorrow to discuss that. I can report back at the next meeting. If anyone has any concerns, you can share them now.
Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion to post the Assistant Town Administrator position once the job description has been finalized, with the request that it be finalized for our next select board meeting. Prepare posting.
Okay. Oh,
So we're gonna see
I
that.
don't want to commit him to that, but I can work towards that.
Yeah, just a request.
Yeah. It's not
So request or motion?
That's a motion
to request.
by the board to request that the Assistant Town Administrator position be prepared to post once the job description has been finalized and approved.
We'd approve it.
I don't even know where we fit.
I mean, the personnel board, I think he sent it to us.
Yeah.
We had the opportunity to review it,
Fine,
and then the personnel board approved it. So I
Okay,
don't really feel like,
great. Second.
yeah, just more just prepping for posting or determining the next.
Thanks for
steps.
reminding me.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
3-2.
Madam Chair,
Mhm.
I'll make a motion to create a screening committee that consists of 1 appointed chair by the select board and 1 appointee per select board member.
Second.
For the
Assistant town administrator. Oh, that's right. Oh, that's it. Yeah. You're right. Yeah,
Wait, what?
because,
You're clairvoyant.
yeah, you're right.
Scratch it.
Yeah. Yeah. Scrap it.
All right. All right, let me connect with Human Resources and see what the suggestion is. Mm. Anything else? For all the new business?
Can I just ask one
Mhm.
question of clarification? Well, even if there's the hiring authority to not challenging that, but does the board have the ability to implement a screening committee?
My opinion,
Yeah.
based on past experience and the same conversation
Yeah.
multiple times, if it's the town administrator's hire, he may, at his discretion, appoint a
Gotcha.
screening committee. And there's other parts to that because it's his appointment. That screening committee isn't subject to the same open meeting requirements either. They're because they're only making a recommendation to the hiring authority.
Understood.
That's my past experience.
Understood. I'll accept that.
Okay. Any committee reports?
Madam Chair, just
Yeah.
committee report, if I may, as part of the building committee. As most of you know, the steel work was completed, and I'm pretty impressed with the progress that they're making. The crane's off-site already. The cleanup crew for the steel erection company is on-site removing paraphernalia and things like that. And I'd say 35% of it is already enclosed for winter construction. They have a heating system, pretty sophisticated heating system to keep the buildings operable for them to work right through the season, it looks like.
Great.
Pretty impressed with the progress that they're making up there.
Great. Any other committee reports? Okay. Our next meeting is scheduled for January 21st. I will note that for the February 18th meeting, I will not be available. So we can either adjust that time frame, or I can abstain, not go. So just a heads up.
I also have I'm fine with if we need to adjust for that date.
Okay.
I'm open to that. And then I believe it's our first meeting in February.
February 4th.
Yes, I believe I will not be available to attend.
Okay.
February 4th, I will not be available.
Okay. All right. Let's take a note of that and we can.
Madam Chair,
Mhm.
doesn't matter for me if you adjust the meeting schedule, because the
Okay.
next few meetings I'm going to ask to be included not remotely. So
Okay.
I can sit at home and up in Vermont and
Okay.
participate. So whatever you come up with for a modified schedule.
You're flexible. Okay. Did we resolve the connection issues?
I think so.
Yeah, I think the cable, community television director had a plan that he was going to try to put in place tonight. So, but Mr. Conley's here, so that wasn't necessary. So I think he feels confident that he can take care of it.
Okay.
And I
Can I just
appreciate
ask that we make like a test run before the next meeting, just to make sure that we're
available. Just send me an email.
Okay, good. That's a good idea.
And I appreciate the board's tolerance of my disappearing from view for a while.
No.
Okay, if that is it, take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good night.